Time to break it down in layman's terms. Today we've got a great show. We've got a speaker, an author, a sales professional, a social media marketing expert, a true business leader, and more importantly, he's a volunteer helping people in the Atlanta community and globally find jobs in time of need. A coach, an advisor, a lot of titles. We've got Jeff Sheehan on layman's terms of business. Jeff?
Well, Doug, thank you for the great introduction. I really appreciate it. It's a beautiful morning here in
Yes,
Atlanta,
it
Georgia.
is.
It's been a Chamber of Commerce week without a doubt.
Can't complain about the weather here in Atlanta, Georgia, people. Jeff, as I said in the long list of titles, and there's more to come, you are a real thought leader, a real inspiration. You help people here in the community. And one of the things that I love about your work is you do a lot of volunteer work, but you're an author. And we really want to touch on personal branding and job transition today, and with a little bit of social media.
Sure.
And your book kind of nails that. It's called Hired, Paps to Employment in the Social Media Era. And it's co-written by you and Al Smith. And just talk a little bit, Jeff, how this businessman, this sales professional, wrote this book.
Well, what happened, Doug, is up until 6 years ago, I worked for a major company, actually about sales now of almost $10 billion, 50,000.
Not your typical start.
No, not
Okay.
at all. I traveled the world with them. I was worked in marketing and sales.
Okay.
For them, working with some of the world's largest companies, handful of names being IBM, HP,
Heard of them.
Dell Computer,
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Apple, Northern Telecom, AT&T, just to name a few.
Right.
Very, very large companies. It was a great career. But what happens after being downsized some 6 years ago, I went to a career ministry meeting. And here in Atlanta, they have a number of career ministry meetings.
And on that, here in Atlanta, like you were saying, career ministry, there are a lot of support groups that help people in time of need for job searching. So it's not necessarily faith-based, it's just helping people.
Correct. So I went to this meeting. I heard this gentleman speaking. He was talking about LinkedIn and
Okay.
LinkedIn for the job search. I said, geez, I really want to do that. I want to help others and get involved in what he's doing as well. So I did that. I started out, it'll be 6 years ago in January, talking to church groups here in Atlanta about using LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Google, and other social media tools for the job search.
In fact, that's how I met you.
Correct.
I didn't meet him online. I didn't see him on Twitter, which he's got, 365,000?
325.
325, soon to be 365 after this video. But more importantly, face to face, but I'll let you continue. But just speaking, he talked about LinkedIn for job search.
Right, correct. So I talked about that for the job search. I've been on LinkedIn for years and been active on Twitter and some of the other social media platforms. So I applied that knowledge base to talking to these groups and trying to help them out. And my model, as I said the other night when I spoke before a church group here, is if just one person from that group can find a job, then it's all well worthwhile.
Right.
So what happened with that is I took the knowledge that I had accumulated both from a speaking perspective, from listening to stories of talent acquisition managers, recruiters, and also job seekers, and I combined that with some knowledge that Al Smith brought, and we put together this book called Hired, Paps to Employment in the Social Media Era.
It's right here.
Yes, and basically it's a compendium of an A to Z resource of everything you really should know about the job search and how to apply it accordingly in this social media era.
Now, when he says A to Z, it is thorough. It's a blueprint. I had a chance to read the book a year and a half ago and actually did a video book review for his website. It's also on Amazon.com. Jeff's being real kind about A to Z. I'm going to tell you right now, whether you're in job transition, you're unemployed, underemployed, or you're trying to up your game in personal branding, don't sell this book short. And this book has relevant information today and 10 years from now. So it's a must read, Jeff.
Well, thank you.
You know,
I appreciate
I
that.
can't say without saying. I want to tell everybody about everything in the book. You got to get the book.
Correct.
But it's a blueprint.
No, it is. And again, we start out with an introspective look at yourself and what you should be doing. It's so very critically important that you know, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your career? Where do you want to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now with regard to your career direction? Naturally, there'll be some things that might come along where you have to change
Right.
things. But you need to have a blueprint, a foundation, a plan as to where you want to go. Otherwise, it's all for naught.
Yeah, and you talk about where you want to go. So that really leads me into personal branding.
Correct.
Because being able to lay that foundation, whether you are using the social tools, but you still have to brand you. And
it's very important. I mean, for instance, today, whether you realize it or not, everyone is a salesperson,
Right.
and everyone is a marketer. And what you're actually marketing is you. We've entered into a 1099 society where the average job tenure is about 2.7 years.
I
And
love
most-
that. I love that
Yes.
1099 side. I don't like the concept, but I like the way you're
Correct. So what has
targeting it.
what you have to do is most people are going to be out there looking for employment or looking for consulting opportunities of one shape or another. And they have to brand themselves. They have to position themselves so that they can be found. And if they are found, that they're seen as being credible, that they do have a brand that can clearly differentiate themselves in all aspects of that, what they're doing from anyone else out there. Because if they're not, if they're just like everyone else, there's no point of differentiation. People will not gravitate towards them.
You're essentially locking yourself out of opportunity to be found,
Without question.
whether it's in business or looking for your next employment or next opportunity. And social can really help with that. Obviously, we talked about
it helps.
LinkedIn, but
It's a great way of positioning yourself, both in creating an inbound marketing mechanism for yourself so people can find you and gravitate towards you in that regard. However, it's a great tool for outbound marketing from a perspective of engaging with people, following them on Twitter, engaging with them on Twitter, taking them over LinkedIn, taking over emails, to subsequently to phone calls, and then face-to-face meetings.
Right.
There's nothing better than human-to-human connectivity, as Brian Kramer, my friend, would state.
Yeah, H2H.
Yeah, H2H. He's always stating this, and it's so true, but so relevant.
But taking the conversation online and taking it offline, face to face. That's how I met you.
Yes, correct.
Now, after I did a little research, I found out, he's a leader. He's a Twitter expert. He's all this and that. But it's being able to take those social engagements and taking it to a face to face.
It's critical. Develop those human-to-human relationships with people, the face-to-face, and it will take you an incredible journey with regard to opportunities, employment, and what have you.
Yeah, for inbound and outbound marketing yourself.
Right.
But also, I think people really need to leverage social is for research. If I'm out there targeting companies, I need to go online, find out check out their website, obviously, read some of their prospectus, their blog posts, their tweets. I mean, I think social is a great research tool.
Oh, without question, it's unparalleled. You could never find out the information they're able to find out today about people 10 years ago.
Right.
It's just absolutely incredible. Everyone has a social footprint out there, whether recognize it or not. And people, one of the things I advise, and most people don't do this, is they need to find out what their social footprint looks like before
Right.
they do anything. Because the fact that there's a lot of information out there that's detrimental to the brand of that, they need to clean it up before
You need to clean it up. You need to
Correct.
know what you're portraying out there
Right.
online. And getting started, if you're in job transition, this is a great read. Knowing how to interview, how to find prospective employees, online, offline, and your personal brand. There's so much more in your interview techniques in this book. But last but not least, you mentioned when you started out this interview, volunteering. You heard a guy volunteer,
it's critical.
and that's one of the takeaways that I'm getting from you today
Yes,
more than anything
absolutely.
else.
As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, I was teaching a class over at Emory University, and I asked the class, the attendees, and there were about 60 or so, how many of you actually volunteer? Doug, just a handful of hands went up. I was
Kind of blown away.
Yeah, it wasn't so. I was just shocked that these people that were out there trying to find employment and trying to retrain themselves for employment were not out there volunteering. Whether you're in a job transition or actually gainful employed, go out and volunteer. It helps you with regard to your ego, helps you get out of bed in the morning, helps you network with people. It shows you're involved in the community.
It shows the face-to-face interaction.
Correct.
And you can actually volunteer online socially too. Best of both worlds.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. And I do a lot of that, trying to help certain causes with regard to getting the message out there. But it's very, very critical that that becomes part of your overall brand, that you are a volunteer and you're helping others in impacting society in a positive way.
Well, Jeff, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. My takeaways: volunteer, get social, bring value, know your brand, and constantly evolve and help others.
Without question.
And help others. I mean, that's, you're a very helpful individual on all levels. It's a pleasure getting to know you, and I look forward to hopefully getting you back on studio and we can talk some about social and social selling, which we love to engage on daily. But really, really wanted to bring home job transition, Personal Branding. Great read, and I just thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, Doug, and have a very nice weekend.
I will, and thank you for watching this video. And I like to say, let's keep it social. Leverage video in layman's terms. Thank you.
He puts it in layman's terms.
And this is why they call him the brand ambassador of video engagement.